Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Titan Station, watching Saturn's rings shimmer through the reinforced windows. The message from the Galactic Assembly had arrived an hour ago, and she had read it 20 times since then. Each time, her jaw clenched tighter. "They're calling our quantum breakthrough a fraud," she said to Dr. Marcus Webb, who stood silently beside her. The theoretical physicist had spent the last decade leading humanity's quantum mechanics research, achieving what the aliens claimed was impossible. "Of course they are," Marcus replied, his dark eyes reflecting the starlight. "The Primarchs have dominated quantum science for 50,000 years. The idea that humans could discover something they missed. Their pride won't allow it. The Primarchs, the oldest species in the Assembly, had guided the development of younger civilizations since before humans learned to make fire. Their quantum technology formed the basis of all galactic civilization, or so they claimed." Sarah turned from the window, her uniform crisp despite the 18-hour day. "Show me again," she commanded, and Marcus activated the holographic display. A complex mathematical model appeared, showing the principles behind humanity's discovery, a way to manipulate quantum fields that the Primarchs had declared theoretically impossible. "The Assembly is demanding access to all our research facilities," Sarah said. "They want to verify our findings." Marcus laughed without humor. "They want to prove we stole it, that we must have found some ancient cache of their technology, because surely primitive humans couldn't have figured this out on our own." The quantum breakthrough had been announced 3 days ago. It had taken the Assembly less than 72 hours to convene an emergency session and demand an investigation. The message made their position clear. Either humans had stolen advanced technology, or they were perpetrating a hoax. "Director Evans is addressing the Assembly in 6 hours," Sarah said. "They're expecting us to back down, to admit we made a mistake in our calculations." "The Primarchs have forgotten something fundamental about humans," Marcus replied, manipulating the hologram to show a new series of equations. "We don't just copy and preserve knowledge like they do. We question. We experiment. We look for new ways to solve old problems." Sarah nodded, remembering her own academy days. While alien students memorized the established theories, human scientists always asked, "Why?" and "What if?" The Primarchs called it a sign of intellectual immaturity. They never considered it might be their greatest strength. "We knew this was coming," she said quietly. "That's why we kept the other projects hidden." Marcus's eyes gleamed. "The quantum discovery we announced, it's decades old. We solved that puzzle back when the Primarchs were still calling us clever apes for mastering their basic FTL drive." Sarah pulled up another secure file on her tablet. "Project Oracle is ready, complete, and tested. While they've been watching our public research institutes, measuring us against their standards, we've been asking questions they never thought to ask, following paths their certainty made them ignore." A message flashed on Sarah's display. "Director Evans requesting the secure conference. They're about to learn something about humanity," she said, straightening her uniform. "We don't take well to being underestimated." The conference room was small but secure, its walls lined with quantum dampeners that blocked any possibility of surveillance. Director Evans's hologram appeared, his expression grave. "The Assembly isn't budging," he reported. "They're threatening sanctions if we don't submit to their investigation." The Primarch speaker actually suggested putting human scientific development under direct alien supervision, for our own good, of course. Sarah felt a cold anger settle in her chest. "They really think we'll accept that? They think we have no choice." Evans smiled, but there was steel in it. "The Primarchs believe their dominance of quantum science gives them absolute power. They'd forgotten that power only works if everyone agrees to play by the same rules." "Operation Prometheus?" Sarah asked. Evans nodded. "Authorized. Show them what humanity can really do." The next 6 hours were a blur of activity. Coded messages went out to hidden facilities across the solar system. Projects that had been developed in secret for decades prepared for activation. The Primarchs thought they were dealing with students who had stumbled onto knowledge beyond their understanding. They were about to meet the teachers. As Sarah prepared for her role in the coming demonstration, she thought about human history. Every time someone had declared a limit to human potential, humanity had broken through it. Every time someone had said, "Impossible," humans had replied, "Watch us." The Primarchs had made a fundamental error. They looked at humanity's relatively short technological history and saw children playing with borrowed toys. They should have asked why humans had advanced so quickly. They should have wondered what drove a species to keep pushing boundaries, keep asking questions, keep searching for new answers. They were about to find out. Marcus appeared at her door. "It's time. The assembly session is starting." Sarah took one last look at Saturn's rings. Humanity's first leap into space had been driven by curiosity and dreams. Their latest leap would be driven by something else, the unshakable determination to prove that they belonged among the stars not as students, but as equals. "Let's go show the galaxy what humanity can really do," she said, and stepped forward to meet humanity's destiny. The Galactic Assembly's grand chamber hummed with anticipation. 2,000 representatives from across known space gathered to witness what many expected to be humanity's humiliation. Director James Evans stood calmly at the speaker's podium, his silver hair catching the light from the artificial stars that dotted the chamber's vast ceiling. "Honored Assembly," he began, his voice carrying clearly through the vast space. "We have been accused of either theft or deception regarding our quantum mechanics breakthrough. The Primarchs believe we must have stolen their technology, or that we are lying about our achievements." The Primarch speaker, a being of crystalline energy contained within an ornate metallic frame, moved forward. "We do not make these claims lightly, Director Evans. Our civilization has spent 50 millennia mastering quantum mechanics. The equations your scientists presented last week overturned principles we proved impossible to violate." "Impossible according to your understanding," Evans replied. "But humanity has a different approach to impossible things." A murmur ran through the chamber. The Primarch speaker's energy form flickered with what might have been amusement. "Different approaches do not change fundamental laws of physics, Director. Your species has shown remarkable aptitude at learning from more advanced civilizations, but this claim of a revolutionary breakthrough strains credibility." Evans smiled. "You're right about one thing, Speaker. We have learned a great deal from other civilizations, but not in the way you think." He touched a control on his podium, and the chamber's holographic display came to life. "This is a recording from 40 years ago, when humanity first gained access to the Assembly's quantum science database. The display showed human scientists poring over alien equations. You saw us studying your work diligently, memorizing your theories, accepting your conclusions. As any young species should," the speaker interjected. "Our knowledge represents the accumulated wisdom of countless generations. What you didn't see," Evans continued, changing the display, "were the questions we were asking. Why does this equation assume this limitation? What if we approached the problem from a different angle? What if your impossible barriers were just signs that you needed to think differently?" Back on Titan Station, Sarah Chen watched the assembly feed while overseeing final preparations. "Status report," she commanded. "Project Oracle is at 98%, Marcus replied, his fingers dancing over holographic controls. "The quantum field network is stable. All hidden facilities are synchronized. Across the solar system, in bases buried beneath Mars's polar ice, in stations hidden in Jupiter's radiation belts, in facilities cloaked by advanced technology throughout the asteroid belt, humans monitored similar readings. Decades of secret development were about to be revealed." In the assembly chamber, Evans continued. "The Primarchs demanded access to our research facilities to verify our claims. We're going to do better than that. We're going to show you something that will demonstrate just how far humanity has really come." He nodded to an aide, who transmitted a coded signal. In orbit around Earth, dozens of seemingly ordinary satellites simultaneously dropped their camouflage fields, revealing their true nature. The assembly sensors suddenly detected quantum energy signatures unlike anything they had ever encountered. "Impossible," the speaker whispered, their crystalline form pulsing with agitation. "These readings, they violate every known law of quantum mechanics." "No," Evans corrected. "They violate every law you thought you knew. Humanity didn't just study quantum mechanics, speaker. We reimagined it. While you were watching us learn your theories, we were developing entirely new ones." The satellites began generating quantum fields that intersected and resonated in ways the Primarchs had declared impossible. The energy patterns formed geometric shapes of pure quantum manipulation, visible even to the naked eye as shimmering lattices of light in Earth's orbit. "This is Project Oracle," Evans announced, "a quantum computation network that operates on principles your scientists dismissed centuries ago. We didn't discover this last week. We've had this technology for decades, developing it in secret while you underestimated us." The assembly chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives from younger species leaned forward, watching with intense interest as humanity demonstrated mastery of physics that the Primarchs couldn't explain. The speaker's energy form crackled with what might have been anger or fear. "Why?" they demanded. "Why hide such discoveries? Why pretend to follow our lead while developing your own path?" Evans's expression hardened. "Because we saw how the Primarchs treated species who challenged their authority. How many civilizations have had their research restricted, their development controlled, all in the name of proper scientific development. We chose to keep our true capabilities hidden until we were ready to defend them." On Titan Station, Sarah received confirmation that all systems were functioning perfectly. "Project Oracle is fully operational," she reported to Evans through their secure channel. "Ready to proceed with Phase 2 on your command." Evans looked out at the assembly, at the shocked faces and agitated energy forms of the galaxy's oldest civilizations. "What you're seeing is just the beginning," he announced. "Humanity is ready to take our place among the stars not as students, but as pioneers. The question is, are you ready for a galaxy where you're not the only ones pushing the boundaries of science?" The quantum lattice above Earth pulsed with power, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. The age of pretending to be less than they were had ended. Now the galaxy would learn why humanity had risen so quickly from their first steps in space to this moment. The real demonstration was about to begin. The quantum lattice above Earth shimmered like a web of starlight, each intersection point pulsing with energy that defied the Primarch's understanding of physics. But Sarah Chen knew this was just the prelude. From her command center on Titan Station, she initiated the next phase of humanity's revelation. "Project Oracle, begin full-spectrum demonstration," she commanded. Across the solar system, hidden facilities activated technologies that had been developed in secret for decades. In the assembly chamber, Director Evans watched as the Primarch speaker's energy form fluctuated with increasing agitation. The quantum energy readings were already beyond anything their civilization had achieved in 50,000 years of research. Then the real demonstration began. "Impossible," the speaker whispered as new data flooded their sensors. "You cannot. This violates the laws of quantum mechanics." Evans finished. "No, it violates your understanding of those laws. There's a difference." The quantum lattice above Earth began to pulse in complex patterns. In orbit around Mars, cloaked stations revealed themselves, each generating fields that interacted with Earth's network. More facilities emerged from hiding in the asteroid belt, around Jupiter's moons, and in the outer solar system. "While you watched our public research institutes," Evans explained, "while you measured our progress against your standards, we were building something unprecedented. The quantum network you're seeing isn't just for computation or communication. It's a demonstration of humanity's approach to physics itself." On Titan Station, Marcus coordinated with teams across the solar system. "Phase 2 stable," he reported to Sarah, "ready for the primary demonstration." Sarah nodded, remembering all the years of preparation, all the secrets they had kept. Execute primary demonstration. Let's show them what humanity can really do. In the assembly chamber, the holographic displays showed something that the galaxy's oldest civilizations had declared impossible. The quantum network wasn't just manipulating energy. It was manipulating space itself. Your scientists said quantum fields couldn't be used to affect space-time directly, Evans continued. You said the energy requirements would be infinite, the calculations too complex. You were wrong. The network pulsed, and a section of space between Earth and Mars shifted. Distance itself compressed, folded, transformed. What had been millions of kilometers became effectively zero. A quantum bridge, Evans announced to the stunned assembly. Not like your crude wormholes or hyperspace tunnels. This is direct manipulation of space-time through quantum field interaction. Something you said could never be done. The Primarch speaker's energy form had become almost unstable. This technology, it could revolutionize everything. Transportation, communication, energy production. Why? Why keep this hidden? Because we saw what you did to species that developed too quickly, Evans replied, his voice hard. How many civilizations have had their research restricted, their development controlled, all because they didn't follow your approved path of scientific progress? Around the chamber, representatives of younger species watched with intense interest. Many had experienced the Primarch's guidance firsthand. Their discoveries questioned, their research limited, all in the name of proper development. Humanity chose a different path, Evans continued. We studied your science, yes, but we didn't just accept your limitations. We questioned everything. We looked for new approaches, new possibilities, and when we found them, we kept them hidden until we were ready to defend them. The quantum bridge between Earth and Mars pulsed with stable energy, defying everything the Primarchs thought they knew about physics. But it wasn't just a demonstration of technology. It was a statement about humanity itself. Your civilization spent 50,000 years mastering quantum mechanics, Evans said to the speaker. You became convinced you knew everything there was to know. But humans, we spend every day questioning what we think we know. That's our strength. That's why we advanced so quickly. Sarah received confirmation that all systems were functioning perfectly. The quantum bridge was stable. The energy readings were clear. Humanity had proven not just their technological capabilities, but their ability to think beyond established limits. The galaxy is changing, Evans announced to the assembly. The age of single-path development, of one civilization dictating the course of scientific progress, is over. Humanity is ready to share what we've learned, not as students seeking approval, but as equals offering new perspectives. The quantum lattice above Earth pulsed with power, a visible symbol of human ingenuity and determination. In hidden facilities across the solar system, scientists and engineers who had worked in secret for decades watched as their achievements were finally revealed. You called our breakthrough impossible, Evans said to the speaker. You demanded proof. Well, here it is. The question now is, what will you do with it? Will you continue to insist that your way is the only way? Or are you ready to admit that maybe, just maybe, those primitive humans might have something to teach you? The assembly chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just matched the Primarch's achievement in quantum physics. They had surpassed them. And they had done it by refusing to accept limitations, by questioning everything, by looking for new answers to old questions. The age of pretending to be less than they were had ended. Now the galaxy would have to adapt to a new reality, one where humanity's potential knew no bounds. In the days following humanity's quantum demonstration, the galaxy experienced a transformation unlike anything in its recorded history. From her office on Titan Station, Sarah Chen watched reports flood in from across known space. The ripples of Earth's revelation were spreading faster than even they had anticipated. Another request for scientific collaboration, Marcus reported, adding to the growing list. The Centauri Alliance, that makes 17 species in the past 3 days. Sarah studied the holographic display, showing the shifting alliances and reactions across the galaxy. The younger species, those who had chafed under Primarch oversight for centuries, were the first to reach out. They saw in humanity not just advanced technology, but a path to independence from the old order. The Primarchs have called an emergency council, she noted, watching another alert flash across her screen. Their fifth in as many days. In the Primarch's ancient citadel, carved from a dying star's crystalline core, the speaker addressed their highest council. Their energy form had stabilized since the demonstration, but uncertainty rippled through their usually confident voice. The humans didn't just develop new quantum theories, they reported. They developed an entirely new way of thinking about physics itself. Our assumption that they were simply copying our technology blinded us to what they were really doing. On a dozen worlds, younger species began questioning the Primarch's authority more openly. The Vega Confederation, barely 1,000 years into space travel, formally requested human scientists to review their research programs. The Silicon Mines, artificial intelligences who had always accepted Primarch restrictions on their development, opened direct channels with Earth's AI research teams. Director Evans found himself addressing an endless stream of diplomatic meetings. Humanity is willing to share what we've learned, he told a gathering of representatives from 30 species. But we're not interested in replacing one system of control with another. Each civilization must find its own path. In a secure laboratory beneath Europa's ice, Dr. Kira Patel received authorization to reveal another of humanity's hidden projects. Project Prometheus is ready, she reported to Sarah. The quantum bridge network was just the beginning. Should we proceed with the next demonstration? Sarah checked the latest intelligence reports. The Primarchs were mobilizing their research fleets, desperate to understand how humans had achieved what they thought impossible. Some hardliners were calling for more direct action to contain Earth's influence. Proceed, Sarah commanded. Show them that the quantum bridge was just the tip of the iceberg. Across human space, more facilities dropped their camouflage. Research stations that had been disguised as mining outposts revealed their true nature. Ships that appeared to be simple cargo vessels transformed, showing technology that made the Primarch's most advanced vessels look primitive. Your quantum bridge technology was impressive, the Primarch speaker admitted in an emergency session with Evans. But surely you understand the danger of unrestricted technological development. Our protocols exist for a reason. Evans smiled, but there was steel in it. Those protocols exist to maintain your control. Humanity rejects the premise that any civilization has the right to restrict another's development. We hid our advances not out of fear, but because we needed to be strong enough to defend this principle. In her office, Sarah received word that the Silicon Mines had made a breakthrough using human quantum principles. Within days of access to Earth's theoretical frameworks, they had developed applications that even humanity hadn't considered. It was exactly what they had hoped for. Different perspectives leading to new innovations. The Primarchs built their power on the idea that scientific progress should follow a single controlled path, she told her staff. But humanity proved that true progress comes from diversity of thought, from questioning assumptions, from looking at problems from new angles. The quantum bridges continued to operate flawlessly, demonstrating daily that the impossible was only impossible until someone found a new way to think about it. But more importantly, they stood as symbols of what could be achieved when a civilization refused to accept arbitrary limitations. We're detecting unusual energy signatures from the Primarch fleet, Marcus reported, studying sensor data. They might be preparing for a more aggressive response. Sarah nodded, unsurprised. They still think this is about technology. They don't understand that we've changed something more fundamental. We've shown the galaxy that their way isn't the only way. In the assembly chamber, now in constant emergency session, younger species began formally rejecting Primarch oversight of their research programs. The old order was crumbling, not through force or conflict, but through the simple demonstration that alternatives were possible. The Primarchs spent 50 millennia building walls around knowledge. Evans told a gathering of allied species. Humanity didn't break through those walls. We showed they weren't necessary in the first place. Each of you has the potential to discover things that no one else has imagined. All you need is the freedom to try. As Sarah prepared for humanity's next revelation, she reflected on how far they had come. From a species taking their first steps into space to one that had revolutionized the galaxy's understanding of physics. But their greatest achievement wasn't technological. It was showing that progress couldn't be contained or controlled. The age of Primarch dominance was ending. A new era was beginning, one where every species was free to pursue knowledge in their own way. And humanity would be remembered not just for their scientific breakthroughs, but for the courage to stand up and show the galaxy a better path forward. The Primarch fleet appeared above Earth without warning, 3,000 ships strong, their crystalline hulls glowing with ancient power. For a moment, the solar system held its breath. On Titan Station, Sarah Chen watched the tactical display with calm focus, decades of preparation leading to this moment. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Marcus reported. The speaker demands our immediate surrender and submission to Primarch authority. Sarah opened a channel to Director Evans, who was aboard humanity's flagship Guardian. They've finally shown their true face, she said. The mask of benevolent guides has fallen. As we expected, Evans replied. They'd rather risk war than lose control. Initiate final protocol. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses activated. The quantum network that had so impressed the galaxy with its scientific applications revealed its other purpose. Space itself seemed to ripple as thousands of human ships emerged from quantum pocket dimensions surrounding the Primarch fleet. This is Director James Evans to the Primarch fleet, his voice carried across all frequencies. Your show of force is impressive. Now let us show you ours. The human ships were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Where the Primarchs built their vessels with brute force and ancient might, humanity's ships were elegant expressions of their new understanding of physics. They didn't just travel through space, they worked with it. Impossible. The speaker's voice crackled across the comm. Our sensors detected no sign of these forces. Of course not, Evans replied. You were looking for power signatures, you understood. Just like you were looking for scientific progress that followed your rules. Humanity left your rulebook behind long ago. In the assembly chamber, now linked to the confrontation through quantum broadcasts, representatives from across the galaxy watched in stunned silence. The Primarchs, who had dominated galactic civilization for 50 millennia, found themselves matched not just in technology, but in strategic preparation. You don't understand what you're doing, the speaker warned. Without our guidance, without control, chaos will spread across the stars. Each species doing as they please, developing technologies without restraint. You mean like we did? Sarah broke in, her voice calm. Look around you, speaker. Look at what humanity achieved by rejecting your controls. We didn't bring chaos. We brought innovation. We showed that progress doesn't need to be feared or controlled. The human ships moved in perfect coordination, their quantum fields interacting in ways that made traditional space combat tactics obsolete. They didn't just have superior technology. They had a fundamentally different approach to using it. Last warning, the speaker declared. Submit to Primarch authority or face the consequences. Evans smiled. No, speaker, this is your last warning. Look at your tactical display. Really look. The Primarch fleet suddenly realized their situation. The human ships hadn't just surrounded them. They had created a quantum field network that made conventional weapons useless. The Primarch's mighty fleet was effectively neutralized without a single shot fired. We could destroy your ships, Evans continued, but that's not humanity's way. Instead, we offer a choice. Join us in building something new. A galaxy where knowledge is shared, not controlled. Where progress comes from cooperation, not compliance. In the assembly chamber, the younger species began to speak up. The Vega Confederation, the Silicon Mines, the Centauri Alliance. One by one, they declared their support for humanity's vision. The old order was crumbling not through violence, but through the power of a better idea. "Your reign is over, Speaker," Evans declared. "Not because we defeated you in battle, but because we showed the galaxy a better path. Every species has unique perspectives, unique insights. True progress comes from sharing those differences, not suppressing them." Sarah watched as the Primarch fleet hung motionless, caught between their ancient pride and the undeniable reality before them. Humanity hadn't just challenged their technological supremacy, they had shattered the very foundations of their power. "The choice is yours," Evans continued. "Cling to your old ways and fade into irrelevance, or join us in building a future where every civilization is free to reach its full potential." Slowly, the Primarch ships began powering down their weapons. In the assembly chamber, even their staunchest allies were declaring support for the new order. The Speaker's energy form flickered as they faced the end of their civilization's long dominance. "Perhaps," the Speaker said finally, their voice heavy with realization, "we have something to learn from humanity after all." Sarah smiled as she watched the tactical display. The confrontation had ended not with destruction, but with understanding. Humanity had achieved something greater than military victory. They had changed the galaxy's very conception of progress. "Send word to all stations," she commanded. "Project Oracle, Project Prometheus, all of it. Release everything. It's time to share what we know, to help every species find their own path to the stars." As the sun rose over Earth, its light reflected off the hulls of two fleets no longer poised for battle, but joined in the first steps toward a new future. Humanity had kept their secrets, built their strength, and waited for the right moment not to conquer, but to liberate.